That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you right. What's up, New Orleans? A Friday afternoon, spring-like weather in early February in New Orleans. Just in time, too, for Sunday's big game. Drew Brees is right. It is New Orleans, the Super Bowl city. 2 days away, Super Bowl 59 at the Superdome. So far, so good. Just outstanding weather all week long. Tens of thousands of fans rolling into the city as we speak. Lots of fans coming in yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, this morning, midday today, and now it continues. And it'll continue tomorrow. And some of those wealthy folks will fly in on Sunday, go check out the game, and fly right out of out of Lakefront Airport on their private aircraft. I'm going to head out to Lakefront Airport, that bridge that connects Hecht to the airport. I'm going to get up on that bad boy and snap some photos, maybe shoot some video of hundreds and hundreds of G5 and larger jets that are going to be parked on that infield. There are 3 total runways at Lakefront Airport, 1 main runway, 2 smaller runways. The 2 smaller ones and that entire infield is just going to be filled with private jets like we've never seen before. A fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, it's no fantasy. 2 days till Super Bowl 59. Our 11th Super Bowl, the Superdome's 8th. The 49-and-a-half-year-old Superdome, about 6 months away from its 50th anniversary, its 50th birthday. So far, the fans, the media, folks on social media, amateur hour, rave reviews for the city of New Orleans. Just folks going off on the city of New Orleans. Super Bowl should be in New Orleans every year. The food's outstanding. The music is outstanding. I thought I was walking in a European city. Never been to a place like this in the United States in my life. And on and on and on. And so many A-listers and celebrities with thumbs up, positive vibe, and their stuff getting posted by the millions on social media. Got a good one lined up for you. Fletcher Mackel, who's been working his tail off all week. I mean, this is what you live for. When I was doing sports talk, it was every day, all day Super Bowls. Go knock out the show, and a lot of interviews and a lot of, live stuff from Radio Row, all kind of goodies. Fletcher Mackel's going to join us. We'll find out about his take, what he's been seeing, what he's been covering all week for the Super Bowl, his prediction on the game. And also Tulane in this indoor practice facility for football that they're talking about building on Claiborne Avenue. A lot more money than that $5 to $7 million bubble. We'll find out about that and more. 5 o'clock power hour, always good. 5 o'clock power hour, Frank Brigsten, about an hour away. Head chef, owner, operator of Brigtsen's Restaurant in the Riverbend. They're going to be booked up all weekend long. But I will tell you this, and you might think I'm crazy, but if you call them like 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30 on tonight and tomorrow night, someone's going to cancel. There's going to be some bigwig that's going to cancel. Sadly, there are supposedly cultured, educated, affluent people with lots of money, and they'll get 3 restaurant reservations all at 8 o'clock and then ask their friends where they want to go. And then a lot of the time not cancel 2 of the 3 reservations and just pop into one of those places and act like, they're the man. Not cool. My point, even though places like Brigtsen's booked up, there'll be cancellations. There'll be no-shows People get distracted. People lose track of time. People get drunk. People do whatever. Book 3 restaurant reservations. So Brigtsen's or any other, nice restaurant that's booked up right now, there might be an opening. We'll visit with Frank Brigsten, find out what he's got cooking over there in the Riverbend section, the Carrollton neighborhood in Uptown. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. Always some economic news, but we'll get his final take as the guy spearheading this initiative that, thank goodness for Governor Jeff Landry. Hey, we need a point person down in New Orleans. We need to come up with a punch list of hundreds of items that need to be taken care of before this Super Bowl. We get numb to the litter, the trash, the graffiti, the slime, the blight, the weeds, the neglected infrastructure. We get numb to it. We got to get outside the bubble, act like we're from somewhere else, and observe our surroundings and come up with a punch list of things that we need to fix. Things that need to be replaced, things that need to be repaired, things that need to be cleaned, washed, painted, whatever, hidden. Our final meeting with Michael Hecht before the Super Bowl. No, his work's done. Our work's done. I was part of about a 50-person team coming up, helping Michael come up with this 500 plus, about 550 item punch list. And I'm guessing close to 500 of the 550 have been taken care of. Close to 500 of the 550. Michael Hecht, Greater New Orleans Inc., around 5:30. In the 5 o'clock powwow, right after Frank Brigsten, Fletcher Mackel, about 5 minutes away. Yeah, you right. Some anniversaries today, good ones too. A trio of wonderful anniversaries. The big one is 15 years ago today. 15, crazy. The Saints won Super Bowl 44. 15 years ago today, as Jim Henderson said, pigs have flown. 15 years ago today, the Saints won Super Bowl 44. I had a little trivia earlier in the week. I was like, no internet device, no search engines. Give me the Roman numerals for that Saints Super Bowl win without even letting folks know Super Bowl 44. And the Roman numerals are great. They're so appropriate. It's XLIV, like extra large IV. You'll never forget it again. Saints winning the Super Bowl, you're going to need an extra large IV to function the next day, huh? Yeah, tap into a vein and give me some fluids. Extra large IV, XLIV, Super Bowl 44. That was 15 years ago today. I just saw this online. Pistol Pete, 55 years ago today, 69 points against Alabama. It just said versus an SEC team, and I knew it was Alabama. That was his highest scoring game. He had like 64 against Tulane the season earlier. And then I think a handful of games over 60 points. Just crazy. The 69, I think, is the second most points in an NCAA game ever, still to this day. That was 55 years ago today, 1970. And 51 years ago today, Blazing Saddles came out. That ridiculously funny movie that simply today would not be made. It would be just so politically incorrect and, oh my gosh, you're hurting people's feelings and all kind of stuff. I watched a clip of some Archie Bunker, just some of the stuff Archie Bunker would say. Just not going to go down today. Not happening today. Hey, if you're tired of your dry cleaner, want to experience the best in Metro New Orleans, it's Young's Dry Cleaning. East Bank, West Bank, home or office, they've got free pickup and delivery. They've got old school walk-up locations out in Lakeview and Uptown. And they've got Young's Express, something no other dry cleaner has. They're manless locker locations all over the metro, maybe right under your nose, like where you live or work. Since 1940, 85 years of excellence. Young'sDryCleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. Super Bowl 59, 2 days away. Like 49 hours and 15 minutes till kickoff, a little after 5:30 at the Dome, Sunday afternoon. Yeah, can I get a yeah? You right. So fired up about just the next few days. Hundreds of millions of dollars in economic impact pop in the city of New Orleans in the next 48, 72 hours. Like hundreds of millions in economic impact. It's pretty mind-blowing. It really is. Hey, we're going to come right back. Speaking of the Super Bowl, let's hook up with Fletcher Mackel, another edition of Fridays with Fletch. See what he's been doing all week. Get a little preview of the game. Hey, Audubon Gutters is the Gulf South's largest, most experienced gutter company. They don't do paint. They don't do roofs, siding, or windows. All they do are gutters. Need gutters for your home or business? AudubonGutters.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
I bust his chops a lot, but you got to give him credit today. He works at Channel 6 full time. He's been there nearly 25 years. He's their sports director. He's nice enough to join me on the program on Fridays. He's swamped all week long, and we're still pulling a few minutes out of him. Fletcher Mackel joins us from the Super Bowl, essentially. What's happening, Fletch?
It's been a great week, Corey. I feel like I'm back at the Olympics. I spent 23 days in Paris working like 12 to 15 hours a day, and that is my life right now, but it's great. I mean, I'm telling you right now, what this has become reminds me of the Olympics. I mean, the worldwide media, the coverage, the attention, and look, kudos. I know you have Michael Hecht on a lot. I know people were, are they going to deliver? Knock on wood. 5 days of just amazing. I don't even have the vocabulary because you and I went to Del Sal, but it's just been everything from functionality to how the city is presented. You know, what they're doing right now is on par with what Paris did for the Olympics. And I feel like I can say that, and people should take it seriously because I was in Paris for 23 days covering that. And what New Orleans is doing for the Super Bowl is on even par from a security level, you know, functioning, the way the city is presented, you know, the time people are having, showing off the best of our city. It's really been spectacular.
What's Channel 6 doing? Where are you guys broadcasting from primarily? And where are some of the spots you've been doing some stuff from this week?
So literally, you know, it's funny. I have some coworkers who ask me, is this different than 12 years ago? Vastly different, because again, the Super Bowl has now become maybe the premier sporting event in the world. Sure, the World Cup is every 4 years, but this has now taken on a life of its own. And I don't think it's just us. I think it's a lot of media outlets. This is all we've covered. Every reporter, every day, every anchor, every day. We have a live location on the media deck outside of the Superdome where we're doing all of our newscasts from live out there. One of our anchors is there every single show, every day, and then reporters throughout town from the French Quarter to the convention center and anything else happening.
What was the highlight of the week so far for you? I saw your Sean Payton interview. Really insightful. I mean, like in 2 minutes, New Orleans is still my home, still have my place down at the Four Seasons. Michael Jordan's iconic shot at the Superdome, no Moss, Muhammad Ali, just running through the Superdome's history, the iconic building. New Orleans is the best place for a Super Bowl. It should be on the 5-year rotation. That was a great interview.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, he was good. The Gleason event was really special on Wednesday night. Opening night was really cool to cover that. You know, we got the parade coming up, WDSU. How about this? We're broadcasting the parade tomorrow. It's going to, WDSU, our local TV station, the NFL Network is carrying it live, and affiliates in New York, Chicago, Houston, and D.C. on top of every one of our parent company is the Hearst Corporation, the 30 TV stations around the country. So it's going to be seen on a nationwide platform tomorrow because the NFL Network is carrying a local station's coverage tomorrow. So that, to me, is probably going to be one of my favorite moments of the week.
Nice, yeah. And NFL Network picking up the Channel 6 feed of the parade tomorrow. That's great stuff. All right, what's the vibe been around town? What's the media saying compared to other sites for the Super Bowl, Fletch?
So I was at the Super Bowl 3 years ago in L.A. And look, I like L.A. I'm not one of these people who's like, I hate the West Coast. Look, I like the East Coast. I love New York. It's one of my favorite places. Chicago in the Midwest is one of my favorite places. But I like the West Coast too. I like San Francisco and L.A. But in LA 3 years ago, we went and did live shots at the Santa Monica Pier, and you didn't even know the Super Bowl was happening. And so that's the one thing that's special about what we have. Next year in San Francisco has the game, but they play in San Jose. It's going to be so sprawling and spread out, you're not going to even know. The one thing people love about this is the convention center, the French Quarter, the Superdome. Everybody downtown is part of this. It's, the restaurants, the bars, the parties. Just, again, it's one of the things that, that we do well. Everything was built super close, whether it was by design or coincidence, and it functions so well, and it's where everybody wants to be. And so I do think the footprint of it is what everybody loves, and they like coming here. The weather's great this week. They love the food. They love the music. They love everything about it. So again, it's been reviews that are off the charts. So look, we got 2.5 more days, today, Saturday and Sunday. But if everything continues on the path it's on, Michael Hecht, Jay Cicero, and a lot of people that plan this deserve hugs from the entire city of New Orleans.
Plus Mother Nature cooperating. I know you got to go. 20 seconds, 2 questions, 10 seconds each, and I know you got to run. Prediction for the game on Sunday. I'm liking the Eagles in the game.
So do I. I like the Eagles too. I like them a lot too. Yeah.
Kind of, this one's out of left field. Tulane indoor practice facility where you wanted it, the old Rosenhall site on Claiborne. What your thoughts, real quick?
I mean, I'm the one who's been pitching that for years and years and years. I've been in a Super Bowl bubble, so if anything broke, that's great on that. But that's where it should be, right there on Claiborne. And if it gets done, that would be amazing. All
right, I lied. Final question: Channel 6 coverage. Where can people check out stuff? What's the pre-Super Bowl, post-Super Bowl? What is Channel 6's plans besides tomorrow's parade?
Yep. I mean, obviously, every newscast, tons of coverage. That's the only thing you're going to see. Special show. We've been airing at 6:30. Got another one today, a one-on-one with Archie Manning, and then the parade tomorrow, and then obviously all of our extended coverage, and then our sports show on Sunday night.
Perfect. Fletch, thank you so much.
All right, Corey. That's
Fletcher Mackel joining us live from the Super Bowl. Yeah, you're right. Fridays with Fletch. Normally a lot longer, but I was trying to get 3 minutes out of him, and I just got 6. So we doubled up on the time, and I'll take it all day long. Fletcher Mackel doing a great job. Yeah, he said he's been working all day long, like 7 a.m. to 11 at night. Now, I remember that grind. I remember those days. That was good stuff. I like doing sports talk radio. I like covering Super Bowls and sporting events. Covered a bunch of them. Got a good 5 o'clock power hour coming your way on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Frank Brigsten's less than an hour away, about 45 minutes away. Frank Brigsten, chef, restaurateur. Brigsten's has been at it for over 38 years. In that old 100-year-old Creole cottage on Dante Street right off River Road. That Dante Street shopping center on River Road. It's perfect. They basically shut down about 4 or 5 o'clock. Brigsten's opens up at 5. All that parking about 30 feet from the front door of Brigsten's, right there, right next door. Perfect. Lit up, bright. Dante Street recently redone. You can roll a marble down it. And then Brigsten's just the great staff, the incredible New Orleans delicacies. We're about to fade into crawfish season. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because there's no better crawfish etouffee anywhere than at Brigsten's. They have it as an appetizer. I got it as an appetizer before sitting down and having a meal there with family and friends. And about 3 days later, I ordered 2 of those appetizers to go and made it an entree for dinner one night. Crawfish etouffee. Brown, not orange, not tomato based, like brown roux based. Just fantastic. Frank Brigsten's crawfish etouffee. And the crawfish and corn soup that Frank Brigsten's does. One of the best soups you'll eat anywhere, the crawfish and corn. And not just, it's crawfish and corn. You get that anywhere. It's always good. Forget about great crawfish and corn soup. Just this soup, one of the best soups you'll have anywhere. Kind of same thing. I went there and had that as an appetizer. And a few nights later, I'm getting a quart of it to go at home and eating way too much of it. Just so good. The crawfish spring roll. I mean, just the stuff in the inside. He gets it all done in a skillet. Throw that on a plate and give me a fork. I'm fine. but then he sticks it in this little delicate homemade shell and flash fries it, and that adds a lot more flavor and crispiness. And then he puts some sauce, some dipping sauce on top of it. Crawfish egg rolls, fresh Louisiana crawfish. Yeah, Brigtsen's, can't wait for that. Frank Brigsten in the 5 o'clock powwow. That gets me thinking that crawfish etouffee, best I've ever had. That it reminds me of Mandich, the old Mandich restaurant on St. Claude from a generation ago. The crawfish and corn soup, the best I've ever had. La Boca has the best example of a crawfish pie you'll ever eat. The crawfish empanada at La Boca Argentine Steakhouse, Adolfo Garcia's place in the Warehouse District. I don't know if they've got them yet, but in the coming weeks as crawfish come online, they'll have those crawfish empanadas. And I'm telling you, it's the best crawfish pie you'll ever eat in your life. And when you go to La Boca, don't get like a filet or a New York strip or a ribeye. Get a skirt steak or a hanger steak or a flank steak, something like that. That's what they're known for, and they're fantastic. They'll do you right. Boy, so many great places to eat in this city. And so many places are going to be jam-packed. This is a good time to head across the lake to Trey Yen in Mandeville. Avoid the Super Bowl crowd. Avoid the tourists. What have you been waiting for? I've been telling you about Trey Yen for years and years. It's not Chinese food. It's Chinese cuisine. It's the 5 Wong brothers, gourmet chefs. They've been at it over 45 years. They embrace our Louisiana seafood bounty. One of the best seafood restaurants with a Chinese twist, Trey Yen in Mandeville. If you go with a group, get the honey pecan shrimp entree as an appetizer, and then somebody's got to get that whole speckled trout or the whole flounder, deboned, head and tail intact, with that tong cho sauce. Trey Yen in Mandeville. Absolutely fantastic. Perfect weekend to go to get away from the crowd. Coming right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. You heard Fletcher Mackel talking about the media, just eating it up, loving the compactness of the city. Next year, San Francisco will be hosting the Super Bowl. The game's going to be in San Jose. That's a good 45 minutes from San Francisco. 45 minutes. It's basically like, hey, the Super Bowl's in New Orleans and the stadium is at the Mississippi line, at the Mississippi-Louisiana state line. Hey, New Orleans is hosting the Super Bowl. The game's in Gonzales. The game's in Gonzales, and New Orleans is hosting the Super Bowl. New Orleans is hosting the Super Bowl. The game's in Covington. Literally. That's what it's like for San Francisco. So you're going to have just media going all over the place. I said this earlier in the week. A lot of cities, and I'll use New Orleans as an example, if we weren't a compact city, it'd be like the game's downtown at the Superdome. The Chiefs will be practicing in Laplace. The Eagles will be practicing in Slidell. There's a press conference at the Hilario Center, and then there's going to be a press conference in Mandeville. That's how it is in these other cities. You're driving from one end of the city to the other. You're sitting in traffic. You're in an Uber, a taxi, taking public transportation in the rental car, and you're riding for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour to get somewhere. Then you're parking, you're going inside, you're knocking out an hour, a press conference, whatever, and then you're driving an hour across town to something else. That's just about every other Super Bowl city. All the hotels aren't in one spot. Now, folks are renting hotel space all over. I just mentioned Laplace and Slidell. They're booked up for the Super Bowl. Folks are going to like Bay St. Louis and Waveland, staying over there, Airbnb hotel rooms. We got 28,000 downtown, 28,000 hotel rooms. And then, as Fletcher just said a few minutes ago, the Dome, the Convention Center, the French Quarter, they're all within walking distance, within a mile, mile and a half, 2 miles tops of each other. It's just tough to beat New Orleans. And then fantastic restaurants. You know, most North American cities, and I'm talking like cities 3-4 times the metro population as New Orleans, have a few dozen, really good restaurants, like a few dozen. I mean, it used to be where most North American cities, I'm telling you, a few generations ago, didn't necessarily have a good restaurant. Maybe had like one or two good places. Now, most cities have good restaurants. Every city has good restaurants. But cities that are much larger than New Orleans have a few dozen. We've got north of 100 really high-end, high-quality restaurants that locals want to go to, that we all like north of 100. I mean, you got to go to like Chicago, LA, San Fran, New York to get hundreds of high-end restaurants that are good. New Orleans has like north of 100. It's crazy. I mean, think about if New Orleans wasn't here. If New Orleans has north of 100 high-end restaurants, how many does Metairie have? Maybe a dozen, maybe 8 or 10 or 12, maybe. How many does the North Shore have? 15 or 20? And they have a lot. So I'm just saying, it gives you an idea that that's most cities. A few dozen. We've got north of 100. So no, and just too many places to name. They're the new trendy places that have been open a few years. Some of them are sticking. Some of them may shut down soon. Who knows? But boy, I'm kind of old school, and I'm not like old school. Like I go to Antoine's and Arnaud's and Galatoire's exclusively or something like that. I'm going to Quarter Two Sisters. That's not me. I'm more like, Bayona or Irene's or Le Petit Grocery or Clancy's or Brightson's, Patois, Gautreau's. Just so many great restaurants in this city. It's outrageous. And so many of these great places are just going to be packed to the gills for the next few nights. Exactly what the doctor ordered. This is a spike for the service industry, music clubs, restaurant bars. They're going to get a few weeks, if not north of a month, of their economy, of their business in the next few days, this week and the next few days. Fantastic. Hey, speaking of, if you still haven't found a spot to check out the Super Bowl Sunday, you're like, yeah, I'm going to check out the game, don't know what I'm doing. Call a few friends and go to Tracy's. Go to Tracy's Magazine at Pleasant. Too many flat screen TVs to count. So wherever you are, wherever your crew sits down, there'll be flat screen TVs in every direction, including the big 10-foot monster. They've got a second floor, a bunch of more flat screen TVs. They've got a big balcony out on Magazine Street. Magazine at Pleasant, catty corner from that Bromart, between Washington and Louisiana on Magazine. Legendary Tracy's, their new location, the perfect place to check out Super Bowl 59. And I'll tell you another great reason. Unlike just about every other sports bar, just about every other sports bar anywhere, the food's not very good. Most people aren't fired up about going to a sports bar and getting something to eat there. It's just sort of survival. I'm hungry. I'll get the thing that's the least offensive, the thing that I have the best shot of being able to eat and get down. I mean, it's just not good food. It's greasy. It's crappy. It's mass produced. It's like fast food plus. Nothing good about it. 99% of sports bars, that's the main problem. The food is awful. Not at Tracy's. Magazine at Pleasant. They're not full yet. A lot of folks will be there, but they got room for you. Need a spot to check out Super Bowl 59? Haven't made plans yet? Sunday afternoon pregame. Sunday afternoon fading into evening. The big game. Tracy's Magazine at Pleasant in the Garden District. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Frank Brigsten, New Orleans chef extraordinaire, talking food. I love it on a Friday. This was Super Bowl week, a little different, but this is New Orleans. We got a news cycle that's similar like New York, Chicago, LA. We got crazy politics. We got a lot of dysfunction. Monday through Thursday, it's like a heavyweight match sometimes. I take a few shots. And I'm not talking about criticism or that. I'm just talking the work and the angle and having the right take on all this stuff, being fair and objective, but being on top of all these shenanigans going on in the city and the positive stuff. But the shenanigans will beat you up Monday through Thursday. So come Friday, when I get to talk food, New Orleans food with Frank Brigsten, that goes in the cha-ching category. You know, I'm a creature of habit. I admit it. I go to restaurants and I'll order like the same thing every time I go to that restaurant. Maybe one other variation or two. But I find something that I just really like and I crave it. And I mean, going to Brigtsen's, I'll change every now and then, but it's hard for me not to order the chicken and andouille sausage gumbo. It's just lights out. It's so good. And then it's hard for me not to order the barbecue shrimp. You know, one of my good friends is Mark DeFelice. Mark and his family used to own Manali's on Napoleon. His family, they invented the barbecue shrimp. So I don't like saying this, but I think the best example of the barbecue shrimp, Frank Brigtsen's version. They're a little different. You know, Manali's are, you know, the original. And Frank Brigtsen's is taking it to like a different angle, a different place, a different level. Just really rich, and he's so smart. He has this like little fritter cake that just sort of smooths it all out. And that plate, I'm telling you, you can get that dish, and people sitting at the table when you're done are going to be like, "Can I dip my bread in that sauce?" And it's just absolutely incredible. So hard for me not to start with that chicken and andouille gumbo at Brigtsen's. Hard for me to not get the barbecue shrimp. And then hard for me not to get, I mean, it's like speckled trout, flounder, that pecan dish with the Meunier, not amandine, like speckled trout pecan with the Meunier sauce. And then hard for me not to get the pecan pie, just like it's hard for my brother not to get the creme brulee when we're at Brigtsen's. He gets the creme brulee, I get the pecan pie. No, that's a hell of a meal. Chicken andouille gumbo, barbecue shrimp, speckled trout pecan, and pecan pie. That's as New Orleans as it gets. That's Brigtsen's. That's a great meal. But there's so many other good things over there. Frank will join us in about 20 minutes or so. Michael Hecht joins us around 5:30. It'll be his final visit with us on a Friday as the point man for Governor Jeff Landry, getting New Orleans ready for Super Bowl 59. And it's opening night, basically. It's Friday before the big game, 2 days out. Everybody's in town. 90% of the people coming, 80, 90%, they are here. Tomorrow and a little bit on Sunday will be the remainder, and that's it. And Sunday, it's just the wealthy that fly in their private jet to Lakefront Airport, go to the game, and get back on the plane that night. Don't even spend the night in New Orleans. But most folks are staying a few nights, Airbnb, great hotel, somewhere. No, Michael Hecht's final few days getting the city ready for all this. A punch list of like 550 items. I think 500 or so were knocked out. We'll find out in the next hour. Stick around. A lot more coming your way.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Hey, if you're getting ready for the big game Sunday and your AC or heat goes out, I've been running air conditioning lately, not heat. For about a month straight, all I was doing was running heat up until this wonderful week. But it's back to AC. If you're in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, weekday, weekend, holiday, overnight, it doesn't matter when. I needed AC help a few years ago on a Sunday. It was Easter Sunday. Total Maintenance was there. Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys. Air conditioning and heating experts. That means they diagnose it the first time correctly. And they come immediately because they know you're stressed out. Those are the 3 big things. Honest, AC and heating experts come immediately. Total Maintenance in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge. You need heat or air conditioning help. Think Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com. Anytime you need heat or AC help, think Total Maintenance. In New Orleans, in Baton Rouge. TM-AC.com. TM-AC.com. That's Total Maintenance. Air conditioning, heating experts for 40 years with a sterling reputation. Love those guys. Replace the entire system of my house, everything, inside, out, outside, ducts, everything. Brand new 3-ton carrier unit about 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's perfect. Lowering my electricity bill. The system's paying for itself compared to that inefficient system I had. I love Total Maintenance. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Speaking of temperatures, heat and cool. Perfect weather all week long in New Orleans. I don't know how anyone can complain. You're an Eagle fan or a KC fan. You're at your hotel. You can go lay out by the pool for an hour or something. Get rid of that hangover, take a dip in the pool, wear shorts and a T-shirt and flip-flops. Are you kidding me? Have a suit on, nice dress, whatever, dressed up at night to go to a great restaurant. You're not sweating. You're not perspiring unless you're digging a hole. Waking up overnight, 60s. High temperatures, mid-70s. That's it. Some cloud cover, so it's not just constant sun, but lots of sunshine too. I mean, it's just perfect. Perfect. Air conditioning outside, and it continues through like Monday when you folks are beelining out of Dodge. And then we'll get a little rain expected on Tuesday and maybe a little temperature drop later in the week. Good for us locals. We'll take it. But I'm digging this week of weather. And people have to be happy. They got to be fired up. We're going to talk to Michael Hecht in the 5 o'clock power hour. This tent that is set up with the first-class amenities inside, right at that, they call it the whale lot by the downtown Hilton, right on Convention Center Boulevard. Big-time CEOs. What do they call them? Magnificent Seven? Those big tech companies. Supposed to visit with all of them. No, this is an opportunity. I mean, hundreds, if not thousands of jobs, ideally a bunch of white-collar ones, paying 6 figures, located in like the CBD of New Orleans, downtown Baton Rouge. No, just an absolutely brilliant idea. You got to give Jeff Landry credit for crying out loud. We got a lot of hack politicians. I think Jeff Landry has a kind of a warped agenda sometimes. He's a little too hardcore right for me, too stiff for me, no doubt about it. And I think he likes jumping on the, kind of national trends and things like that. He plays politics. But he's also done some great things. Troop NOLA in New Orleans, Troop N. Kicking butt and taking names, just what the doc ordered, caring about New Orleans, jumping over all the mayor and the city council, all these power play political crap, and doing what he can with the powers he has as governor for the city of New Orleans. And so far, so good, all in a positive way. Getting Michael Hecht to jumpstart this Super Bowl prep thing. My God, John Bell Edwards should have appointed Michael Hecht. The goal should have been, let's get it done by the summer, before the Saints football season, before Bayou Classic, before New Orleans Bowl, before the Sugar Bowl, before New Year's, before Taylor Swift. Not have all this stuff going on while all these big events are in town, because the Super Bowl is the goal, but hell, New Orleans is so mañana, do it tomorrow. Having the goal as the Super Bowl, I give the governor credit. Should have been done by John Bell Edwards. Jeff Landry grabbed the bull by the horns, appoints Michael Hecht, someone that can see this thing cross the finish line. No, you got to give him credit. And now this tent, let's lure business to New Orleans and the state. Let's get some folks that can sell to these big-time CEOs, these wealthy folks, these decision makers. No, like or dislike Jeff Landry, you got to give him credit. You folks that get so hell-bent in your political ways, there's no way you'll like anything a Democrat does, and there's no way you'll like anything a Republican does. And that sucks. Shame on you. Bad for you. I don't have that burden. I don't carry that sack of rocks, that anvil, that monkey on my back. I'm not worried about Republican or Democrat or black or white. Not care about city or rural, caring about what's best, what's real, what's effective, what's working. And Jeff Landry with Troop NOLA, Jeff Landry with this big tent seeking out economic investment in the city, in the state. No, these are huge things. They can't be overlooked. You got to give credit where credit's due. And Jeff Landry is definitely moving the needle and making the right decisions. And these things are apolitical. You can think they're political. Putting more police in New Orleans when crime was at an all-time high, violent crime level out of control. No, that's smart. Setting up a tent and luring in these CEO types and pitching the city and state to them, that's smart. This is an opportunity. They're on our turf. It's a rare opportunity. No, it's smart. Give Jeff Landry credit. Corey Johnson with you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. Hey, if you're on Magazine Street, if you need a new pair of prescription glasses, Need some sunglasses. If you're nowhere near Magazine Street, get to Magazine Street. Get to Art and Eyes. Google them, Art and Eyes. Eyewear as unique as you. Name brands you've never, ever heard of, and that's a good thing. None of this Luxottica garbage. Super high quality, lifetime purchase. Brands from Japan, Europe, the United States. Art and Eyes on Magazine. 5 o'clock power hour next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 3.
Down, Blue Boy, down.
Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Good boy, Blue.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah. Affirmative. Thumbs up. Yeah, you're right. Corey Johnson with you. 2 days, about 48 and a half hours till Super Bowl 59 kicks off at the Dome. But first, we go to La Jolla. Number 9, Mr. Drew Brees. He's right. The Super Bowl city. New Orleans hosting its 11th. The Superdome its 8th. Come August, the Superdome will be 50 years old. Yeah, you right. And about $550 million in upgrades over the last 4 or 5 years to the Dome. Throw in another $500 million after Katrina 20 years ago. You got about $1 billion the last generation or so poured into the Louisiana Superdome, keeping it state of the art, keeping it plush and nice. Sean Payton was really impressive. We had Fletcher Mackel on last hour. On Fletcher's Twitter, he posted an interview with Sean Payton. Payton talking about the Dome and just like the Ali fight, the No Mas fight. Just knew the history. Michael Jordan's jumper, playing for North Carolina for the national championship. And then he was talking about just great bones. The building has great bones. All these other stadiums like Riverfront and Cincy, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, they're all gone. He mentioned Philly, the Met, all gone, those multi-purpose stadiums. The Dome, great bones, he was saying. Super Bowl should be in New Orleans every 5 years. The Superdome, the city, the ease of it all. Sean Payton saying, man, I still consider New Orleans home, still in my residence at the Four Seasons. Really interesting comments from former Saints head coach Sean Payton. Speaking of Sean Payton, 15 years ago today, the Saints won Super Bowl 44. 15 years ago today, as Jim Henderson said, pigs have flown. 55 years ago today, this is so arbitrary. I just saw it on Twitter. Pistol Pete scored 69 in an SEC game. I know his highest scoring game was against Alabama, 69 points. I think that's still the second highest scoring game by a single player in NCAA history. Crazy. And a final looking back on this day, 51 years ago today, Blazing Saddles was released. What a ridiculously good movie. Absolutely funny. My only regret, I wish I could erase my brain of the movie and start over again. It's still pee in your pants funny to this day. But I'd like to just see it not knowing the movie at all. Fresh from the start. It is so funny. It's a movie that could not be done today. Too many folks would be offended, not politically correct. So many great scenes. I'm watching Blazing Saddles a few months ago. I start shooting video of it in my den, rewinding and recording a scene, 20, 30, 40 seconds, whatever. I'm about to post it on Twitter. And then I'm just like, Corey, what are you doing? And just X'd it out, deleted, moved on. I'm like, can't post this on Twitter. There's no inflection or sarcasm emoji. Folks might think you're posting that and this is what you believe. It's not a joke. This is how I think. It's like, yeah, today in 2025, sadly, Blazing Saddles doesn't age well. That's pathetic. Get a thick skin, get a leather skin, people. Every single group is criticized, is made fun of. And number one, the group that's the stupidest is like white people in general. It's ridiculously funny. Hey, it is a little bit after 5 o'clock on a Friday. Ding, ding, cha-ching. We love ringing that 5 o'clock bell, that 5 o'clock whistle, as we call it. Little bit after 5 p.m. on a Friday, 100% of the work week in the books, and 100% of the weekend is smack dab in front of us. Super Bowl 59 weekend right here in New Orleans. So I like smelling the roses. I like putting this very, time, put the spotlight on this very time, because we're done working and we got the whole weekend in front of us. The 5 o'clock whistle, appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Yes, there are lots of Super Bowl fans at Katie's, but because of where it's located, Mid-City, Iberville, and Tallahassee, it's off that tourism path, the main path, kind of the B path. Folks going to Treme, folks going to Bywater, Marigny, folks going to, Uptown, folks going to, Mid-City, checking out Katie's. But boy, for locals, you got space. They got room for you at Katie's. And with this weather, dine outside at Katie's. Indoor dining, outside dining, a second floor. They definitely have room for you on this Friday night before the Super Bowl. This is the best of both worlds. You get to get a vibe. There'll be some Philly fans in there with their jerseys on. There'll be some KC fans in there with their jerseys on. You'll hear different accents knowing it's people in town for the Super Bowl. There'll be some media types. There might even be some celebrity types because it's Katie's, as New Orleans as it gets. But they got room for you, and it's the perfect place to get that New Orleans food you love, that you crave, like soft-shell crabs, flounder, pompano. You never know what Scott Craig's going to bring in. And you get that Super Bowl vibe without having to go deep into the French Quarter, Warehouse District, CBD, and have to deal with traffic and parking and all that. Yeah, as New Orleans as it gets. Big portions, great for sharing. Truly, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. It's Katie's. 5 o'clock whistle. 5 o'clock powwow on a Fantasy Friday, appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Speaking of food, speaking of pompano and speckled trout and flounder, Frank Brigsten's going to join us in about 5 minutes from his restaurant. Brigsten's in the Riverbend, 5 stars, world class. Brigsten's could be in any city in the world, and it would be one of that city's best restaurants. Period. End of story. San Fran, New York, Paris, it doesn't matter. Barcelona, Brigsten's is that good. We're blessed to have it. 38 years. Frank has no intention of retiring, but they've been doing it 38 years. Frank, his wife's 2 sisters. They're not going to do it forever. I mean, I don't know when. 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. They're going to retire and call it a day. Sometime in the future, the end's closer than the beginning. They're 38 years into it. Take advantage of these places. I do. I mean, I got like a bucket list of the places that have been around for generations, and I still support them all the time regularly. I mentioned some of them earlier, like Brightson's, like Clancy's, like Patois, like Le Petit Grocery, like Irene's, like Bayona, Gautro's. No, these are some of the city's finest restaurants. They've been around for decades. You can't take them for granted and think they'll just be there forever. Patronize them. Plus, they're some of the best restaurants in the world, literally. Some of the best restaurants in the world. And fresh local seafood and doing it right. Come on, tough to beat. Frank Brigsten, a few minutes away. We're going to visit with Michael Hecht in about 20 minutes. Our final visit with Michael Hecht while he's in charge of getting the city ready for the Super Bowl. And right now it's like, painting a railing or something. The work's done. There's no time to do any more. It's literally 48 hours and 20 minutes until kickoff 48 hours and 20 minutes, a little after 5:30 Sunday afternoon for the Superdome. KC and the Eagles will go at it for the Super Bowl 59 Lombardi Trophy. Yeah, you right. 5 o'clock powwow with Corey Johnson with you. So far, fans, media, people on social media, rave reviews about New Orleans. Everybody's having a fantastic time. Folks saying things like the Super Bowl should be every year, put them on the 3-year, 5-year rotation. New Orleans is the best place for the Super Bowl. So much fun, great weather, walkability's fantastic, world-class restaurants, music clubs, bars, historic sites, World War II museum, the history, the architecture, the beautiful French Quarter, European masterpiece. I'm in the French Quarter. I think I'm in Europe. There's no place in the United States like this. I love hearing all this from people not from here, praising our city. I mean, folks that go, that gush over our city, that go, gaga over our city, how can you not love them? How can you not love them? Every day, this program on radio, on television, on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra, right on the corner of Williams and I-10. The car corner, right on the corner, right on the price. Home of Lamarck Ford for over 45 years. Home of Lamarck Lincoln, the number one Lincoln dealership in the state. And don't forget about Lamarck Crescent City Ford, your commercial truck, van, SUV dealer. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and Lamarck Crescent City Ford.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeVar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Can you believe Leidenheimer Baking Company's been at it since 1869? 1869. Oh, excuse me, 1896. I got those last two numbers mixed up. 1896, nearly 130 years into their third century, baking that French bread that you love. Good to the last crumb, that Leidenheimer French bread. That's the French bread you'll be eating first bite at fine dining restaurants throughout the city. And if it's an authentic New Orleans style po' boy, it's going to be on Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Let's go to the Carrollton neighborhood, the River Bend, about a block and a half from where Carrollton and St. Charles intersect. Half block off the river, Dante Street. They've been at it for 38 plus years in this 100 plus year old Creole cottage. It's Brigtsen's restaurant. Frank Brigsten joins us on the program. How you doing, Frank?
Where you at, Corey? TGI Super Friday!
Yep. We got kickoff in 48 hours and 10 minutes.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yep. But a couple of days from now, Frank, about this time Sunday, it'll be electric at the Dome. Boy, I know as a restaurateur at Brigtsen's, booked up, feeling the vibe, lots of tourists in town all week checking out your place. You're feeling that Super Bowl vibe in New Orleans, I bet, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny because we don't really get a lot of activity from Super Bowl where we are. We were slow Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and wow. Friday and Saturday are booked like normal. There's so many ancillary events around this thing, private events, buyouts. Unless you get a buyout as a restaurant, you may not see too much.
Wow.
But we're very happy with where we are and all that stuff. We'll get some fans in this weekend. We always get, we'll get Philly fans and Chiefs fans, which is always fun.
What's new on the menu, or what's about to be fading out and what's about to be coming on the menu?
Well, we've got our popular regular dishes. We're getting beautiful speckled trout, meuniere with roasted pecans. We're getting sheep's head, which we're using for our broiled fish topped with crab crust and a lemon crab sauce. And the oysters are looking beautiful right now. Oh, my gosh. I saw them yesterday. I wanted to eat them all. So we're doing sauteed veal with oysters, sliced mushrooms, and a brie red peppercorn sauce. That's killer. And then, of course, in our seafood platter, we have two different baked oysters. One is a baked oyster LaRousse with shrimp and crab meat, and a fennel baked oyster on our platter. And we're getting some crawfish. So we're using, on the seafood platter, we have grilled drumfish with a crawfish and pistachio lime sauce, which is a killer combination. And we've switched from shrimp cornbread to crawfish cornbread.
Wow.
Baked to order and topped with a disc of jalapeno smoked corn butter. That's a killer thing, too.
That's yummy. All right, you know what I'm going to ask? If crawfish season works out and ramps up, the usual goodies could emerge?
Oh, they'll be along. They're down the road and coming on. So we'll have probably to start with the crawfish corn soup, and we'll take it from there.
Maybe some crawfish etouffee, maybe crawfish egg roll?
Yep.
Wow.
Actually, I don't do a lot of outside events anymore, but I'm doing one in April at Audubon Park with Dickie Brennan and Susan Spicer. And this is 24 winemakers from France who have been touring the United States. And we're going to have like a fete au dos at the swamp exhibit at the zoo. And I offered to make crawfish etouffee for 150 people. So we'll see.
Wow. Your crawfish etouffee.
I said, I'll do that, or I'll do gumbo, you know.
I may have to sneak in the day before the event at the zoo and just sleep in a bathroom so I can be there the next day.
It'll be open to the public. It's going to be grand.
Wow. Are you
I'll keep you posted.
Your crawfish etouffee lights out. I was talking about it last hour, kind of brown roux based, not tomato orange based, right?
Exactly right. We take boiled crawfish, seasoned boiled crawfish, and crush them up and make a seasoned crawfish stock. That's a key. And then, of course, onion, celery, bell pepper, garlic, seasonings, and thicken it with the brown roux. And then at the end, when we're ready to serve, green onions and crawfish tails.
Frank, a lot of restaurants that are like what you're doing are trying to be like what you do. They'll have a steak on the menu, and it's almost like an afterthought, like got to have a steak for the person that is picky. You've got a steak on your menu, but it's definitely not an afterthought.
Well, thank you for that. First of all, I think you should have a beef dish. You have to offer variety on your menu.
Yep.
To please the customers. And we use certified Angus beef, which is just below prime. It's the top 2/3 of choice. And it's a 6-ounce filet grilled and served with a tasso marchand du vin sauce and garnished with thinly sliced fried shallots in like a tempura batter.
Wow. Yeah, that's fantastic. That sauce.
And some mashed potatoes to go along with it.
The mashed potatoes sopping up the sauce is just.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I kind of do the little bite of mashed potatoes, a little bite of the meat and the sauce. I mean, all in one bite.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I think beef is a big part of New Orleans cuisine. I mean, from the original Chris Steakhouse to which became Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Crescent City Steakhouse.
Yep.
And these were all Yugoslavs, Croatians that started this. And it's still with us. And to me, for me, a beef dish in a Creole restaurant, I think of two sauces. I think of Marchand du Vin and Béarnaise. And, you know, we've had those at Commanders and stuff like that. It's part of our cuisine.
Yeah.
And it's a big part.
Yep, it really is. Pork chops going tonight?
Oh, yeah. We got the big, beautiful brined pork chops, seared and roasted to order, tender and juicy, and served with an apple cider pan gravy and Napa cabbage slaw.
How about old Daffy Duck?
Oh, yeah. You know, a lot of people know what they're getting when they come in, and often it's the duck, especially out-of-towners. Oh, I had that duck last year. I've been thinking about it for months. And so it's a slow-roasted half a duck, no fat, no bones, very crispy skin. Served duck à l'orange with an orange sauce made with the pan drippings from the roasting pan, and served with classic Cajun dirty rice.
I love the skin because of the fat and the flavor, but I like it crispy, Frank. I think that
it has to be.
It makes the flavor just pop.
Yes, it has to be. You slice a piece of the duck, get a little skin and some of the succulent meat, orange sauce. Oh my God!
No, there's nothing worse than when you get a piece of duck or chicken with no skin, or you get enough skin for 3 pieces. When it's crispy, you get the skin that's sitting on top that piece you cut. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I'm not a big fan of seared duck breast. To me, to really bring out the flavor in a duck, the old school slow roasting is the way to do it.
chocolate cake, pecan pie, creme brulee, Mardi Gras. You got the king cake.
King cake bread pudding.
But not made with king cake, though.
No, it's not made with king cake, but it's made with French bread, Leidenheimer, in fact. And it tastes like eating a piece of king cake. It's served with a cream cheese sauce. It has a touch of lemon, and topped with Italian meringue, which is a really beautiful silky meringue. And then we brulee the edges of the meringue, burn it a little bit to make it pretty and tasty, and garnish with purple, green, and gold sugars.
Boy, the pecan pie with the caramel sauce, maybe the best example of that dessert anywhere.
Thank you. You know, I think the butternut shrimp bisque, the roast duck, and the pecan pie are the three dishes that people think about when they think of Brigtsens.
That chocolate cake, though, it's so moist. I mean, it's almost dripping.
Oh, now you got me hungry.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, I'll take some piece of the chocolate cake. That's incredible. And then the whipped cream that you make for some of those dishes, just fresh and outstanding too, Frank.
Thank you. We put effort into everything. You know, I have a recipe for whipped cream, and it's hand whipped, not a machine. And so it gets tight and silky, and really a lovely mouth texture. Beautiful.
What do you use? That like metal whisk?
Yes.
Wow.
A bowl and a whisk. It's done by hand.
Put somebody to work for about 3-4 minutes, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's just something you got to do, and it takes a few minutes, but it makes a big difference.
Frank, cancellation tonight or tomorrow night, or fully booked?
Well, we are booked, but I would not hesitate to call, because this is the kind of event and kind of weekend where people's plans change.
Yep.
For instance, we had a six top tomorrow night, and just happened to have it. And a dear friend and customer called and asked if we had anything. So we gave it to her son. And then he called yesterday saying, well, I got invited to this party with the owners, so I don't know what to do. So, you know, and things change. Yep. And I don't know how that worked out, but plans change, especially in a weekend like this. So don't hesitate to call.
861-7610. 861-7610. That's the number to Brightson's. Frank, have a great Super Bowl weekend. See you next Friday.
You too, Corey. Have a good weekend, y'all. Take care of each other.
861-7610. That's Frank Brigsten from his restaurant. Tough to beat Brightson's. Seriously, just so damn good. Love me some Brightsons. You will too. Michael Hecht is next.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Hey, New Orleans. If you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
All he does, like 24/7, 365, is sell the city of New Orleans, doing it on CBS News for a national television audience. It's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. Our final visit with Michael as Jeff Landry's point man to get this punch list done, about 550 items. I think about 500 of them have been done. Miguel, happy Friday, pre-Super Bowl. Kickoff in 48 hours.
That's right, Corey. But, it really kicked off for us a couple of days ago when people started coming into the city. And I'm looking down now from our office, and the lights are on, and the activations are starting, and the buildings are lit up. And holy moly, if my eyes don't deceive me, that is a sign on City Hall on the Porter Street side.
Wow. Now you're talking about a banner or some light show deal?
No, I'm talking about like a sign that says City Hall in red neon with a gold fleur-de-lis in the middle of it. This has never existed ever. That's item 551.
That's a brand new gimmick. Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it has been something to see folks get their act together in these last couple of weeks. I mean, we did a ton over the past 5 to 6 months, but the last week has been it's been awesome, and we got it done. And, the reviews are coming in from everybody, from Uber drivers to Chad Ochocinco, and they're all pretty much raving reviews.
Chad Ochocinco he's the greatest ambassador for New Orleans. He thinks it's the greatest place on earth. It's incredible. Someone replied back about something negative, and he just ripped him. I'm like, this guy's fantastic. Should run for mayor.
Yeah, he is. He is on one. He's been fantastic. So, I think it's New Orleans is easy to love.
Yep.
And I think also in a moment where everything is so divisive, and uncertain in the world, I think people are kind of enjoying the kind of simple monocultural aspect of the Super Bowl. We can come together. It's only a game at the end of the day, and kind of celebrate together in one of the most culturally rich and welcoming cities on the planet. So it's a good time for all.
So easy to get around, Michael. I mean, I know you have a love for San Francisco. I do as well. San Jose's 45 minutes away. I mean,
it's an obscenity. Like Corey, here should be the rule, okay? If you host a Super Bowl, then folks should want to fly into the airport of that city's name to go to the game. I mean, you're better off flying Southwest to San Jose to go to the Super Bowl.
The good thing is the media, the owners, they see all this. It's a different cycle. I mean, they may be like, we got to get New Orleans like on a 5-year plan. I've heard a lot of talk about that lately, like this 10, 12-year gap thing. Time to move on and get back to our roots. Florida, California, New Orleans, and then the others.
I think that's right. I think, look, if you're going to spend $1 billion on a stadium, I get it. You get a Super Bowl. But then beyond that, let's get back to the old warm stadiums and who do it best, because, ultimately it's really meant to be a celebration. And what's great about doing it in New Orleans is the city not only benefits, the NFL benefits, because the energy is so organic, the joy is so authentic. It just creates a better game. I've been talking to folks about the game last year in Vegas versus here. They said, look, Vegas did a great job. I mean, it was, the infrastructure is brand new. They know how to put on big events. But it was sterile. It was just another event, happening in this artificial environment. And you talk to folks, including folks from the NFL, about what they're experiencing in New Orleans, from Roger Goodell on down. And you can see their enthusiasm is genuine. This place is special. It feels different. It's just a lot more fun, and it translates even onto the TV screen, I think.
No, it really does. I was about to say, Michael, other cities, they're struggling to find things to go in and out of commercial breaks during the game. San Diego, Tampa, it's like they show the marina with the sailboats, the sun setting.
And I think, Corey, it was like the same piece of B-roll over and over again. I started recognizing the sailboat. I'm like, oh, man.
And in New Orleans, it's like the producers are stressed out on what they can't use because there's so many different things. Michael, you are on CBS and other national outlets. There are 7,000 credentialed media. I saw on social media early in the week, like Good Morning Milwaukee, Sunrise Denver, like the local NBC, ABC, Fox, CBS affiliates. Some of them are doing their local morning shows from the French Quarter, from the Convention Center, from the CBD, the Warehouse District, all over New Orleans. I mean, satellite trucks, lots of cable, everybody's everywhere. We're getting a lot of great free exposure around the country, around the world for this thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt. When people talk about the economic impact of the game and they start putting out this $500 million number, I kind of hate it because it's a drastic underestimation of the value. That's how many hot dogs you sell, how many T-shirts, how much beer. The real value is that you've got 150 million people around the world living in places that are sterile or boring or spread out over dozens of miles to get anywhere, and they see this place and they're like, oh man, that looks like fun. That's where I want to go on vacation, or that's where I want to relocate my business or have a convention. That's the real value of this thing, is the media value, the brand value. And, there are metrics for calculating that, but I think even that underestimates it. I think this is a priceless opportunity. And that's why there's so much pressure to do a good job and why we put so much effort into it.
No, it's magic. Folks watching the game in Dallas or Atlanta, they're not like, I want to go there. They watch the game that's in New Orleans. They're like, I want to go there. I want to go to that city. Michael, go ahead.
So I think the difference is that in other places, it's an event happening in the city. When it happens in New Orleans, the city is the event. It's all encompassing, and you just don't get that anywhere else for all kinds of reasons.
Hey Michael, you got to give this guy credit. Jeff Landry, this tent by the whale lot, by the Hilton, bringing in decision makers and CEOs and billionaires and Fortune 500 types. What do they call it? These tech companies, the Magnificent Seven. Is that right? Mm-hmm. They're coming in. I mean, give Jeff Landry credit. That is genius. You walk into this first-class tent, and it's just a showcase of New Orleans and Louisiana and what we bring to the table. It's fantastic. Other cities aren't doing that for the Super Bowl. I think it's great we're doing that. That's something I've been stressing for months, and Jeff Landry steps up, and you've been over there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going over there right now after this. It's 25,000 square feet, under a tent. It's really not a tent. It's really a temporary building. And the best way I could say is that it almost has the quality of like a first class kind of airport, or it's, or a really high class convention. You walk into the building, and the first thing is a display of the old New Orleans. It's oil drums. It's bananas. It's kind of where we were for the last 200 plus years. And then you burst into the light, and that's Louisiana Now, which is the name of the pavilion. And so it's about energy. It's about aerospace. It's about artificial intelligence. And so it's a very effective storytelling mechanism, but it's also a flexible space. There are meeting rooms. There's one that the governor has. It's kind of decorated like a hunting lodge where we're a fishing camp where you can go and have private meetings. The event I'm going to right now is going to have, I don't know, maybe 800 people in it, so it can accommodate a large number of individuals. We've got an event tomorrow that's sponsored by Young Presidents Organizations where I'm going to be moderating a panel between a fireside chat between Jeff Landry and 50 Cent, which, was not on my bingo card ever. And so it's definitely the first time that Louisiana, but I think it's actually the first time that any Super Bowl has been used by the state as a real economic development platform. And I give the governor and his team a ton of credit for not just doing it, but doing it in a totally first-class way.
No, and in a way that is luring in the people you need to talk to. And you get them in the right mindset. I mean, they might relocate a few hundred jobs here. I'm hoping this thing produces hundreds, if not a few thousand, white collar, $100,000 plus a year jobs from some of the biggest companies in the world, biggest companies in America.
It will, if we keep up this level of presentation, this level of execution, over time, it absolutely will. I mean, there's no secret to this. You just have to execute. You just have to be credible. You just have to be aggressive. You just have to be creative. And when you do that, over time, you begin to build relationships and win deals. But if you neglect it and think you're on autopilot, it's not going to happen organically. It's too competitive of a landscape. And honestly, I think that for a long time, Corey, we were just we were prioritizing economic development like we need to. And so the fact that Jeff, Susan Bourgeois running LED, the whole team is out there to win. It's just a matter of time. We're going to begin to win. And we already have, the Meta deal, right?
Yep.
$10 billion.
Incredible.
I have a guy from Google Labs speaking tomorrow. It's only going to grow from here.
Yep, that's what we need. Michael Hecht, Mother Nature's cooperating. Fantastic week of weather. It continues through the weekend. Have a great weekend. Go land some great jobs, and we'll talk about it next Friday.
Thank you, Corey. I'll see you on the field, and I look forward to talking afterwards for the post-game analysis.
I will be doing the coin toss at the Super Bowl this year. You didn't hear?
I didn't hear. That's congratulations. I'm going to be DJing the halftime show with Kendrick, so look for me.
I like that. Will do. Michael Hecht, thank you.
Thanks, boss. Bye-bye.
That's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joining us on the program. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. More to come. Yeah, Super Bowl kicking off in less than 48 hours.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters, and you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at La Barre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Less than 48 hours away, a little after 5:30 this Sunday from the Superdome. There'll be close to 80,000 in there, 75,000 plus. A lot of the seats up in the terrace are lost to fans because they have to set up space for media, and they'll have like a row. Last Super Bowl I went to at the Dome, I was up there in the terrace. They had a row where you sit, and the row in front of you, they built out this wooden stand so you'd have like a desk in front of you. So all those seats were sacrificed. But then they brought in like those lower plaza seats down on the field. I don't know if they're going to do that this year. We'll see once we check the game out on TV. But about 7,000 credentialed media for this game. 7,000. That's about 8-9% of the Dome's capacity right there just for media. I don't know if all 7,000 of those credentialed media have game credentials, but they definitely credentialed a bunch of folks for activities throughout that week. And yes, there'll be thousands and thousands of media members at the Superdome, tens of thousands of fans from Philly, tens of thousands of fans from KC, and then a bunch of corporate folks. I mean, the NFL went from being like a blue-collar sport to white collar, to like corporate. These Super Bowl seats are thousands of dollars face value, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 face, like on the ticket before, some scalper makes money on the side, like face value, $6,350, $6,350 face value for your Super Bowl ticket. Anyway, no city does it better. The weather's cooperating. Everything is just on cruise control. It's what we do. We're an event city. We're a festival city. Entertaining, conventions, tourists. That's what we do best, where we do it better than anyone. And boy, the police presence around the CBD French Quarter warehouse district is fantastic. Like, almost every damn corner, there's like a police cruiser with the blue lights going. I mean, just a serious police presence, some military, different police from the metro area and beyond, all over. Just state police doing a great job. Troop NOLA. No, things are just on cruise control right now. Let's hope we don't have any problems. No idiots running around out there. Let's just have a great, clean, perfect weekend for New Orleans. Hundreds of millions of dollars in economic impact over the next 48 hours. A few $100 million over the next 48 hours. Incredible. Super Bowl 59. In the Superdome. 11th for the city, 8th for the Dome. No one does it better. No stadium has had more Super Bowls than the Superdome, and New Orleans and Miami are tied now, 11 Super Bowls each. I'm hoping that, because trends change. I'm hoping they'll never go back to how they were, but let's hope they kind of go back to where they were, where there's like a rotation. A lot of folks, media, NFL owners, folks that have influence with the NFL, they love New Orleans as a Super Bowl city. It's being said all week long. And when they're going to San Fran next year and the game's 45 minutes away in San Jose, they're going to love the compactness of that New Orleans Super Bowl and how everything's right there, walking distance away. So hopefully this is such a winner where the decision makers are like, man, this 10, 12-year gap for New Orleans is silly. They do it so well. It's the favorite spot. Let's get them in the rotation every 4, 5, 6 years. 5, 6 years at the worst. What's that, Blue Boy? You like Philly in this game? You think Philly's a little bit more balanced and going to give Mahomes some trouble? Interesting. Yeah, I kind of like Philly too, buddy. We'll see. A little after 5:30 on Fox. Super Bowl 59. Have a great weekend. Enjoy all the festivities. See you Monday at 4.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.